Hey everybody, welcome to the third class in the 1 month series of chippy drawing. I hope I've shown you guys and gals that chippies are just kind of like a big oval head on a body. Easy to draw by looking and recognizing simple shapes. On my screen right now is another comic book that I'm working on. I'm really excited about it because it is a pure manga. The stuff I usually do is American fusion. It's a kind of a combination between both American and manga, but this is my first pure manga book, and it's been really fun to draw. In that limelight, in a sort, the next class that we may be able to offer, I still have to do some thinking about it, but I want to offer it to everybody listening right now. You got to be a member sponsor. Member sponsor opens up so many more doors, just not for 2D, but 3D as well. But I'm going to do a series on critical thinking for concept artists. It's where, like, for instance, 1 week we'll talk about sea monsters, and I'm not having anything drawn, any preconceived notion at all. And we're going to open the class where everyone's mic is open who wants to participate, and it's got to work that way. And I'll draw some ideas of what we're having, and you can draw along as well. And by the end of the class, I'll have a basic form for all of us to look at and kind of follow. And then the next class will debut what we thought about, why we made the monster the way it is. I plan on showing you guys and gals the ways to do some really cool texturing using Photoshop, kind of moving along in that. Again, not a Photoshop class, but some definite tips and tricks, and very powerful. So one week will be maybe a sea monster. The next week will be a space type monster. And the cool thing about monsters, there's no right or wrong. You don't have to worry about anatomy, but you get some really cool shapes down. So just mold that in the back of your head. I know you can be a member sponsor at any time. I'm not for sure how to do it. I think you email Nelson or somebody, right, Nelson?
No, you just go to the website and go to our store and select memberships, and you will be able to sign up there instantly.
And if you act now, you'll have a picture signed by Nelson and I in our little pony, My Little Pony pajamas.
I don't know about. I
You
don't
don't know
about
about that? Okay, whatever. All right, gals and boys and stuff. Let's go ahead and get started. I usually work by 20 by 20 type sort of, I guess, image area. I'm going to do my image size. This is only at 72 dpi. I definitely want to have at least 300. Let my computer do the thinking. And I'll shrink this down. I encourage you guys and gals to go ahead and do a 20 by 20 square, 300 dpi like we normally do. And we can all say, hey, this is Pokemon here. And it is a Pokemon, chippy-like creature. The shapes are simple, lots of circles, not a lot of sharp, super sharp angles and stuff that we have to worry about. But I've had clients say, hey, this is the picture I want, but you have to make it different so I'm not sued. I'm like, all right, so tonight we're going to come up with something like this. We're going to use this form. I wanted to throw a little bit of foreshadowing in instead of just having a little chippy guy or gal standing there. So real quick, what I want to do is, again, kind of in the vein of critical thinking, I want to open up the microphone to somebody, volunteer. This is their basic shape. It's a turtle-esque creature. It does not mean it has to be a turtle. That tail does not have to look like that tail. What I like for somebody, a volunteer, to do is to come online, talk to me and say, hey, let's take this pose, because that's the pose we're going to do. That's what we're going to use. But maybe put some horns in his head, or let's change the eyes around, or wings, or something like that. So can you get a volunteer, Mr. Nelson?
All right, raise your hand if you are interested in volunteering.
Come on, I won't bite. Hard.
You might, actually.
I might. Leonard's still there?
No, he's walking.
He's what? He's home?
He's walking.
Oh, gotcha. But he's still there at the Buzz Cave. All right, no volunteers?
Nope.
Mr. Nelson, we see this little chippy guy. Tell you what, we'll just go ahead and do the outlines of everything, and then we'll start talking about fine detail. Maybe by then somebody will man up and say, yeah, I want to do that.
Alrighty.
I just made a group, and that was my mistake. I want to make a layer here. I'm going to call base, B-A-S-E, 01, like usual. Come down here and get my non-photo bluish area. All right, let's go ahead and start. Your work area is over here, just like my workspace area. I'm going to do a little stroke like that. That's fine. I'm going to actually bring my brush down to a 50. Let's try it again. And then I'm going to make sure that's why my opacity is down to like 19. That's better. All right, so let's go ahead and dissect this guy, right? I see a big circle through here and almost an oval through here. And what we're going to do is I'll draw a line from here to here, and the top of his head come up through here. So I got some basic guidelines, right? So I know my head has got to fit from here to here. And if it's a little bit over, a little bit under, it's no big deal. A good rule of thumb, again, is I usually start from the middle, so I know that I have enough room to go up or go down on my canvas. So I'm going to look at this basic shape here, and it's almost like a squashed ball. I'm going to come up through here like this, follow this around here, and I'm going to undo because I don't like that. Try one nice smooth line. I'm using my anti-aliasing options that I have in Mangus Studio. There, that's fine. So I have a little shape right here. It's not even like a solid circle. That's all right because, again, this is just our base area. I'm going to come through here. I see how this head comes down and inside here. So I'm going to make a circle like this. Before I do that, sorry, let's analyze this. This cheek comes a little bit past this area right here. So I know my cheek has got to come around here. So I'll start up here. Start here so I can bring my brush around like this. See, this comes straight down like this, and I go ahead and follow it all the way around here. I'll close that circle up. It's almost like making a snowman. I'll go ahead and clean this up through down here too. So I have my little belly. I've got my big head. And from here, all I have to do is, I'm going to look at this arm. If you look at the arm real quick, real hard, right where this cheekbone comes out here, that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to bring this out like this. I can see 1, 2 little triangles. They're coming down 1, 2. This area right here comes down straight and sweeps out pretty far. So I'll come down like straight, start to sweep it out for a chubby little hand. So we made our head, we made the body, we made this little hand area right here, and we can go ahead and go one little triangle like that if you want to. And again, this is all subject to change because we don't want to be sued by the Pokemon people by making a Pokemon for our client. That would be bad mojo. Now we're going to come over to this. It will be his left hand. Yeah, left hand here. We can tell how it breaks the plane and comes in through here, a nice little circle. We're going to build upon that. So I'm going to look right about down here. I'll start my little circle area like this. Bring this up. It kind of swoops. I'm looking for my first triangle here, 1. And notice how this comes down, and this other triangle hits behind it. So I'll do my little triangle like this. Straight. Then curve it in a little bit like this, and that's fine. I'm drawing through my object, and that's exactly what I want everybody to do. This is our first pass. If I had canvas, and I'll show you what I would have done if I just was like on a normal canvas on hand paper. Actually, let's go ahead and do that while you guys catch up. I would literally, let's see, I'll just draw them down here. Let's start out with a circle, really nice and just circle-esque. My head would come up through here like this. I'd measure it out. My little placement holder here, circle, come up through here, like so. Make a big circle here, then this leg through here. We have 1, 2, 3 like this. Placement for his little mouth. Eye placement holders like this. And that's literally how loose I would start everything out if I was doing it by pencil, but because we have the option of coming in here with layers, we might as well utilize our tools. So does anybody have any questions before we go on?
Nope.
Roger that, Mr. Nelson. All right, so we got the head, we got the body, we've got these two hands drawn. Let's go ahead and work our way down through here like this. Working this leg here. We'll come up to about here. Bring it down like this. You can tell how it comes in and out. Does that make sense? He's got kind of a fat little leg, so I'm going to come way over here. If you look, if this is a center line, if this is the center of his body, I'll do a little T cross like this. So his leg starts quite a bit over here. I'll come down like this, jet out to this little area right here. And we go 1, 2, 3, meet right here. So now we have the head, we have the two little arms, we have the little leg. And again, this is called foreshortening. Here, while you guys are catching up, I'll do this as well. So file, new, 300 DPI, inches, we'll do 20 by 20. All right, little known fact, Todd McFarlane, who did Spider-Man, he used to like to make a triangle like this and try to find a way to create and put Spider-Man in here. And like I was talking about the Chippy, I always start out mid-center through here like this. Then circle for my head through here. Little action pose or where a spine would be. And my idea is to try to fit everything in here. So my little pelvic region like this. Maybe I got his leg coming up here. His feet kicked out at an angle like this. And this leg here coming out like this. The foot here, shoulders here, elbow. Placeholders for the hand. And you know, it's about coming in and doing some more detail work like that to get this sort of look. But what I wanted to show you is his foot, how big the foot is compared to everything else, because it's kind of foreshortened. It is closer to the camera, and again, we got it inside this little triangle area right through here. And there's a lot of cleanup we'd have to do. Or sometimes you'll see somebody who may be standing like this. His arms out through here. So he got his hand like this. Where his legs are at, shoulders at right here. Then you have his forearm through here. Then you'd have the hand here like this. And you'd have the weapon through here like it's pointing to the camera. So this is what we're going to do tonight with our little Chippy guy. We're going to start working on foreshortening. Because there's hard rules to understand about foreshortening, and right now I'm not going to go into all of them. It's not a foreshortening class, so right now we're going to say, well, it looks cool. We can tell this foot is closest to the camera. We can't see his knee. So what I'm going to do is draw this outside circle first of where his leg would be at. And if I look towards his turtle shell, I'll go ahead and draw this real quick right through here. For a placement holder, I know the leg is going to be somewhere around here like this. So now I stamp my foot. I can go ahead and build it through here. And usually I like to draw through, but I'll go ahead and erase it right here since I've already built this part of the leg here where the foot attaches. Then I can come back here and go 1, 2, 3 like this. Use my eraser tool to erase this little area like that. And then come back in here underneath and draw his little tail. So now we have a basic form, but that's the big foreshortening lesson that I wanted to throw you guys and gals away. So now let's do a little bit of cleanup. I think his head's a little bit too big. Now I can erase it and redo everything, but let's use the powers of Photoshop. I'll select Mad Jamma right through here, like so. I'm going to hit Control T, and let's see, I'll shove it right about here. I like that a little bit better. I'll enter, Control D. His leg, I think, is a little bit long, maybe a little bit wide, so I'll go ahead and select this area through here like this. Hit Control T, and maybe I can shrink it up a little bit more like this. And then I'll twist it around like that a little bit. Enter, Control D to deselect. And I like these proportions a little bit better than the original ones I drew in my first pass. And that's how simple it is to resize things in Photoshop. So let me see if I have a volunteer to see where we're at right now with everybody. Can someone volunteer, or we're going to take a screen? I am good at pointing, yelling, and having it fit. So ask my wife. We have a volunteer?
We did have one earlier, but it came in too late, so I'm wondering if that same person is interested in volunteering real fast.
Sure, why not? Let's see.
Well, maybe. We can try.
Okay. Hey, you there? I bet they're willing not to take the screen. Maybe in the bathroom. Are you still there, Mr. Nelson?
No.
Okay. Well, this is slightly disappointing, but we'll move forward. Hoorah, adapt and overcome.
Indeed.
All right, I guess I have my screen back. Mr. Nelson, what sort of monster do you think we can change this little thing into?
I don't know. A Squirtle?
Squirrel? Come on. What I just did was I created another layer. I'm going to call this base2, BASE02. Enter. I'm going to hit a darker blue this time. And then I'll start going over my lines. I like the basic shape of the head, but I also like having the idea of, let's give him a big horn. So I'm going to come up through here like this. Again, this is on a separate layer. I'm on base 02, so I can draw over this and through this. So my horn's going to look like this. Big looking triangle. I'll put one more horn on his head like this. Comes back around like that on top of the head. And for giggles and stuff, I'll bring one back here like that. So now that I have this depth, the cylinder looking thing, I may put a little more detail through here like this, like it's kind of cracked. The same thing over here. So I have 3 horns. 1, 2, 3. And I see his little face. We got the basic shape of it, and I kind of like it. But I want kind of want a bigger brow ridge. The brow ridge is the area, the eyebrows. I'm going to draw on through here like this and come down at a longer angle. Let's actually come in here closer. Make it nice and sharp. So it is like an L or a corner. I come here like this, make a little line like that, and then come in through here like so. Now he's got these big, soft, pretty looking, girly eyes. That's fine. Let's go ahead and kind of build those eyes, but what I want to do is make them a little more rough. So along this eye ridge or the brow ridge right here, I'm going to come in a little bit, straight down, straight over. I can kind of round this out like that here. And then I'll make a solid little line like this, like it'll be looking off in this direction. I'm going to bring this eye ridge or brow down to here, like it's knitted. And from here, go ahead and draw the other eye. So it looks like he's mean, he's scowling, and his ears or his eyes are looking over here. We've got the horns, we build the eyebrow ridge. That's all good and said and done. And I like his little smile over here because the client wants something similar but let's make it mean. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and build. If you look, it's almost like a bird. You know, as a kid, you're like drawing, like, I'm drawing birds. You look, they're flying. It's a sunset. Pow, 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 crap, I'm dead. So that's it's from the movie The Crow. Looking for like that bird-like shape coming here like this. And I'll bring it up here like he's got kind of a sneer. And we'll move this along like this. So now what I'm going to do is my brush is at a 50. I'll bring it down to a 30. And I'll really zoom in here for you guys. And this is a series of triangles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Come back here and I turn my base layer 1 off. And this is what we got drawn so far from what we built from our base. You can already tell it's radically different. No copyright infringement. And we built it looking off this illustration right here. I do that in comic books a lot. I look for a cool pose. I'm like, okay, well, I like this, but I'm going to make the arm at a different angle, or I'm going to do the hip pose slightly different. And it's always good to draw from what you see. So let's do a little bit more, in here in the face. Let's give him kind of a cheekbone right here that comes down. Since we have a cheekbone over here, let's come over here right underneath the eye. Draw another little cheeky area right here, you cheeky monkey. And then I'll come through here at an angle like this and make it nice and complete here. So when I turn my base 1 layer off, oops, this is what we've created so far. Do I have a volunteer to show me what you've come up with so far on this? Anybody? I'm dying here, Mr. Nelson.
Questions panel or hands or something.
Well, is this thing on?
Yeah, it should be.
I'm wondering. All right, so let's go ahead and finish this eyeball out here. I'll bring my brush size up quite a bit, like this. Leave my little highlight into the eye right here. Leave a little highlight for the eye right there. Bring my brush size down quite a bit. Let's kind of give him a little triangle through here for some little ridge area for the nostrils and nose. And then maybe a couple little scales in through here like this, and we'll go ahead and attach this over here. A little more detail in through here like this. And what we'll do is we'll throw, again, I like line weight variation, so I'm going to come in here and make this a little bit darker, just a little bit thicker through here like that. And maybe some more little ridges, areas like he's all scaly in through here. Not to overdo it. So we've come up with this from this original drawing, from our base drawing right here. I just really want to illustrate how simple this is if you take the time to do the groundwork. So I got this little turtle rhinoceros looking thing right through here. So I like the idea of the plates, maybe a rhinoceros looking thing. Let's go ahead and follow this down here like so. And I'm going to rip this off pretty much verbatim. I like this little pattern right through here. So I'm going to come down slightly. Or curvature area right here. Small triangle like this. Come across here, right across. Let me redo that, stop. Because if I look, this area right here stops by the foot. So come down here and stop by the foot. Split the difference in the middle like this. And I have my foot over a little bit more than this guy, but I'll go ahead and draw an angle like this here and here. So again, get rid of our base. This is what we have so far. Come back here like this. And let's go ahead and start with the hands. I want to give them kind of more claws, and I definitely want some more scales on them. So let's come up through here, follow our guidelines like this. Let's come up here, give them one claw like a pincher here. Second claw like this. Go ahead and draw that third little claw, but what we're going to do, instead of leaving it open like it is over here, I'm going to come down like this and circle it. And then I'll follow this around like so. Go ahead and close this in here and here. You can tell where the shadow goes, so they have it right here. So I'm going to follow this along like this. And I'm going to take my brush size down quite a bit to a 35. And at an angle, I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So again, I turn my base layer 1 off. And this is what we've come up with so far. We also see some shadows around here, so let's go ahead and do that. It comes around through here, and it's really pronounced through here like so. So what I'm going to do is draw this area right through here. Then I'm going to bring my strokes at an angle like this. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So now we're giving that illusion of depth. It's not going to be so flat, even in a black and white drawing. And it really is that simple. All we're doing is doing basic line work. Come back in here to my base 1 area, put my brush size back up to a 50. I'm going to come up through here like so. And since we have these 2 little pinchers and this little thumb looking area right here, I'll bring my pincher area out like this. Close them off here and here. And then I'll make my other little pincher come out here like that. So now I shut my base layer off. This is what we have going on. Now if you look, this arm and this arm, this actually should be a little bit fatter. So let's go ahead and fix that real quick. In this layer here, coming through here like this, and then down. I like that. Now I can follow it around here. Try that one more time. Bring it like that. Turn my base layer on. Pretty close to the original idea that I wanted. We can see the shadow that comes in through here, like so. And I'll bring my brush strokes up like this. Turn my base layer 1 back on. So again, just marvel at the power of what you guys are doing, from this illustration to our base level and to what we have up right now. Any volunteers yet to let me see what there's going on? Probably not. Let's go ahead and finish this leg out through here.
We did have one.
They're still there?
Yeah, they're,
all right, hey, awesome.
They're having some troubles with their webinar earlier. Hopefully this will work.
So go back.
Okie dokie.
Ignore it.
Hello?
Hello? Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Back. Hat schon mis
Okay.
remove it. Oh, no.
Bist du von Deutschland? 9? I think we're still having problems, Mr. Nelson. Okay, go ahead and take my screen again, Mr. Nelson, while they're kind of sorting that stuff out.
Why is webcam not detected?
Feel bad they're having so many problems. All right, so I lost my train of thought. Oh, we're going to finish this leg real quick, right down through here. So we can follow this around here like so. And I like the 3 feet or 3 finger toe idea. We'll go ahead and keep that 1, 2, 3. where his foot's at, it comes out the little triangle. Bring it up through here. Now since we have all these, let's make a couple maybe little areas through here where they're kind of scaly. What I really want to do is show patches of skin right here where the knees are at. Maybe some right through here like this, but I really want to hit that knee area right here. So it kind of shows like, hey, there's my knee, my kneecap area. So if I bend it and this is like an animation, it will make more sense. That's one of the things you have to kind of look out for whenever you're doing concept art for somebody, some client, and again, you're doing a concept art, you have to ask or find out, is this going to be for animation purposes? Is it going to be for turnaround? Is it going to be for a comic book thing? And are you going to be the artist drawing everything? A lot of times right now in my everyday walk, I just got signed to a pretty big book deal, but first step, of course, is creating all the concept pieces. Now I have my idea what I want the concept pieces to be, but I have to marry it and make sure my client is happy. And even though I draw maybe a front and a side view, my client most likely will want to know what the back looks like. And it really helps sort out and save time if I do all the front, side, and back, a full turnaround. So there's no questions. Again, some comic book work I've done for myself, I don't have to draw any of the concept because they're in my head. It really just depends on your job, what you're doing, and what the end results and the product is going to be used for. Just keep that in mind. So I'm going to come back to my base layer, and we're going to the big foreshortening area right through here. We're going to keep this here since we have the 3 toes here. I'm going to follow this around 1, 2, 3. Just a little line that comes up through here that I don't have drawn. And then the foot forms through here. So I turn that base layer off. I have this going on. And I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. Kind of show the bottoms of the feet. Close this area off through here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my brush size up to a 60. It's not a really big deal, but because ideally this is closest to the camera, I'm going to make this a little bit darker, a little bit thicker line weight variation, so it shows that it is closer. And then maybe coming through here, if you look really close, some line weight through here so it's thick to thin. Same idea through here. I'll keep this all one layer, one level. And then maybe make this area right here a little bit thicker. Maybe this area a little bit thicker through here. And some of the head. Let's go ahead and hit these horns with a thicker line weight on this side here like this. Now what we're doing is we're tricking the reader's eye. We're making sure that it's just not one light and weight variation all the way around. It's not boring. It gives it a lot better read. It makes things pop. And that's what we want to do. So what I'm going to do with my toe area, make a thicker line weight here on this side. Make this a little bit thicker through here. And already things are starting to pop. And we can even do that exploring the knees because this is all one line weight. So maybe if I make this a little bit darker and through here, darker on the side like this, but darker through here. We'll put a little shadow underneath his chin too. Like so. We pull it back. It's really starting to make things pop just by line weight. And we're kind of building slowly, a lot slower than I usually go in classes. But again, this is not an anatomy physiology class. This is not strictly comic book or layout classes. It's a free class that I hope you're getting enjoyment out of and understanding that you can draw anything. So I'm going to come back to my base area right here. I'm going to follow this around like this, attach it to its bottom. And then I think I'm going to be done with my base layer because I want everything else to kind of be original. Make sure this comes up through here like this. And we'll definitely put the turtle shell. So we kind of want, the client wanted the turtle-esque looking thing. So I have a line here. Oops, let me redo. Sorry about that. Have a mulligan on that, fine sir. Come around here like this. And since we have all these horns in the back, let's go ahead and throw another little horn out here like this. And then maybe we have some horns that come down on this turtle shell. And all I'm doing for horns, small little triangles like this, and then you can do line weight variation, make this a little bit thicker. You can add some cracks into it like this. That's what we'll do over here to some of these, I guess, horn spikes. Come in here like so. Make this a bit thicker through here, a bit thicker through here. Throw some shading in here. Like that, so we have the foot, we have this going on. Now to make it a good illustration, this isn't bad, but without the tail, I'm missing balance. Because this is, without this, it looks different. I don't like the way it looks, so I need something that will balance me through here. Any ideas, Mr. Nelson?
No.
Really? None at all. That's fine. We'll go with a tail. I like this. We're going to come down through here and put it on the ground. If you notice, this is slightly lower than this area is here, so I'm going to come down here like so and bring this almost to a straight angle like this. And then I'm going to go 1, 2. I'll do a circle here like so. Spiky area here, here, maybe a straight one right here, another little spike here, and here, another circle here. These are kind of like the tops of the spikes, and we can start dividing things out. I go 1, very close line to it here, 2, come out a little bit, follow the contour, go 1, 2, let's do one more, 1, 2, and then we'll close this area off, 1 and 2. So now what we can do is come in here kind of close, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Zoom back to see how it looks. So it's like it's starting to become round. It's starting to follow the contour, more dimensional. And let's work on the spikes through here. Some line weights, some cracking going on. Maybe some thicker lines through here to show some shadows, throw some depth in through here. Crackling in through here like so. And now with my base layer 2 complete, I'm going to use my magic lasso tool and select this layer here like this. And we're going to have some fun. I'm going to hit File, New. I bring this to 300 DPI. Again, I like to work in inches, and we'll do 15 by 15. Hit Enter. Come back to this layer, wrong layer, this layer here that's all selected. I hit Edit, Copy, come back to my new layer here, hit Edit, Paste, hit Control T, because I'm going to hit the Shift button too, so I keep all the constraints. Bring them down here like so, make them nice and small, bring them up here in the corner. I'll hit Enter, and then I'll use my magic lasso tool, my marquee selection tool. I'm hit Control Copy, Control V, it pops up another layer, and it looks like you're drunk and you can't see what's going on. So now I have 2 copies, and we'll say this is new NEW. So now we're going to do some exploratory things. I'm literally, I don't know why that keeps popping up there, Mr. Nelson. I'm hit Control T. So now I can maybe make them short and fat. I can bring them nice and long and make them more thin through here. Hit Enter. Bring them up here like this. Now since I've already controlled and copied, I'm controlling and copying this guy. I'll hit Control V, It makes the same shape as this guy here. Bring this over here like this, and then we'll have some more fun. Maybe we want a huge head. So I'm going to come in here nice and close to my original selection like this. Hit Control T, so I'm just selecting that area here. So making my head a lot bigger. Maybe reposition it here like this. Hit Enter. Control D to deselect. And let's see, maybe I don't like this big area right here, so I'll marquee select this right here. Hit Control T. Maybe I want it longer. Something like this, maybe a little bit thinner. Reposition it here. Hit Enter. Control D. And then I'll marquee select this guy. Actually, I don't have to do that. Hit Control T again. Bring him up here like this. Let's do it one more time. I'm going to hit Control V. It copies the original guy that we've already built. I'll hit Control T again. Maybe I'm going to twist him up like this at an angle. Come up through here with my selection tool or lasso tool. Again, select the head. With that selected, I hit Control T. I'll twist the head around this way like this. Hit Enter, Control D. There's a little bit of cleanup you have to do. Set my little button like this. My eraser tool up through here. Still not quite satisfied. What I'll do is I'll select this entire tail area like so. Hit Control T again. Maybe I want this up here like that. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to take this over here, hit Enter, Control D, get my eraser tool. I'll erase it to the first line like this. Marquee select this baby here, Control T. I can reposition right through here like this. Hit Enter, Control D. And then with my eraser tool, come in here and do a little bit of cleanup. Make my eraser really nice and small. I don't want that line showing through here like that. Get my brush tool back out, bring it back down to size. Rehook and redistribute all this stuff through here. Hit Control T because it's on that layer here, and we'll scoot him up like this. Enter. And by one little base drawing and looking at an original piece, I'm not sure the artist did, but they did well. And then using our control or selection tool, our manipulation tool, we've given 4 different looks, just like that in a drop of a hat. Different position of the body, different position of the tail, different size of the tail, different size of the head. And that's what you do as a concept artist. You have to give something similar but slightly different. You don't want to confuse the client by giving them like 8 different looks, because that's too many choices. I may have said this before. If you go into a restaurant, an ice cream shop, and there's like 50 different sorts of ice cream to choose from, and you pick Superman and you're eating it, then you have like buyer's remorse. Like, I really kind of want a chocolate chip. But if you only have 4 choices, you can focus better and you can choose one of the 4, and you don't have buyer's remorse because there's only 4 to choose from. You still got one of good flavors. So just keep that in mind. So that's what I have tonight. I want to see what you guys have done so far. Do we have a volunteer?
Looks like most people are actually using paper, which...
Oh, they are. Nothing wrong with that. Tell you what, let's do another couple manipulation things, okay? While we're doing that. And hold on. B S T E B E N S D's and deltas 7 1 at gmail.com. That's my email address. Send them to my personal email if you like. I'd like to see them. If you can scan them, send pictures to me. I'll give you guys critiques and what I can and all that sort of stuff. So tell you what I'm going to do, since we have about 9 minutes, I'm going to actually layer, flatten all my images, come back up here to layer, duplicate layer, I'm gonna hit yes, come up to normal, to multiply. Now watch this, everything gets dark. I'm gonna create yet another layer on bottom of I have to switch this around, my multi-layer is gonna be on top. And I will pick a red type color here. And ideally, if everything works right, let's zoom in on this little guy right here, bring my brush size up. I can start coloring on top of him. The multi-layer selected, it's on top of everything. I still get the benefit of my black and white lines underneath. So I can literally just come in here, start coloring around. I'm gonna be a little careful, and I have my soft brush selected. B, I'll bring this down a little bit so I have a little more control. So maybe making like a rock lizard type guy. And I'm doing this pretty darn quick. This is not by any means would be a finished type chippy look. But I really wanted to show you guys and gals the multi-layer and how fast you can actually throw some stuff together and utilize it to show a client or an individual or for your own personal use, so you have a better idea of what's going on. And leave his shell, make that a different color. And let's color this tail area through here, a reddish color like that. There's a couple different things we can do now. I have the burn tool selected. I can come in through here where the shadow areas are at, and the area starts to get darker red, maybe a couple passes in the bottom of the foot. Make it sharper and through here. The bottom, the top, let's really shade in this area right through here. I'll pick a different color scheme, maybe a bluish color, see how that looks on him. Why you know? Oh, because I don't have my brush. Here we go, brush. And we'll go ahead and color all those spiky armor areas. Same color. Now what's really cool about all this that's done, and believe me, this is super fast, but say I want a different red on here, I'll take my pick, my color pick, where you go? Where'd you go? There you are. Here, do this again, come up here, that's selected, so I'm going to select this area. I'll bring it down to a darker red, hit B for brush. Maybe I want it darker and through here the eyes. It's starting to read all the in-betweens. Photoshop finds middle ground like this. So now you can really start having fun with shading instead of using the burn tool so much. That's just another option. And say I want a little red tones up through here. And what's cool about this is I can come up here to my filter, to my Gaussian blur, 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 blah, 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 Gaussian blur, and then I can start, you see my guy starting to fade. I want to fade him all the way over here like this because then there's no color. And this is way too much. I can come in through here. As I come up my ladder here to 0.8, it starts to blend everything even better together. So by using the multi-layer, I mean, you can throw down some really cool, quick colors and start messing around with shade, and then you just keep going, going, and going. And you can even do this with your image. And I don't know why I do this. Maybe it's like OCD, but I like to come in here and go invert. It's kind of actually a cool look. I could work with that and do some cool things with the eyeballs. Let's try something real quick. That's not working. Let's try the eraser tool. There's a lot that we can do. I'll go ahead and Z out of this. Undo the invert. You can also mess with your levels. You can come up here to, where is it? color balance. And you can start messing around with, well, like this is good, this is not like this, that's too dark. This Photoshop gives you a lot of control quickly. And if you separate all these guys into layers, you have a lot of control and can throw down some serious artwork, some serious ink in no time at all. So just a quick review. We started out with that whole Pokemon thing as our baseline idea. We looked at shapes, very simple shapes, some circles and the hands and the legs, measured things out. And then we made it our own. We gave it a different looking tail. We gave it horns. This looks nothing at all like the original piece of art, but it's nice to draw from what we see. Then we came in with the selection tool. We moved things around, resize things. So just explore. I mean, that's how I learned a lot of my Photoshop. I'm like, oh, what does this button do? Oh, that's a cool look. Or the filter gallery, another classic example. I'm sure a lot of artists will not admit to this, but I'm not like a lot of other artists. I can look at my filter gallery. Hit Control minus to bring everything down. And I will literally come through here. I want to see what cross-hatching looks like. This looks like, let's go to our sketching area. Base relief, yeah, that doesn't work at all. Half-tone pattern, I don't like that. Let's come to, let's see, artistic, it's always good. Let's see what this looks like. Not a bad look. Where's my dark edges? Plastic wrap's always fun to play with. I like my plastic wrap. Neon glow. It's kind of a cool look. Your dry brush. And your dry brush has a really unique look, and you can control your brush sizes. The higher up you get, of course, the brush is bigger, so the detail isn't going to be as pronounced. Brush detail, if I bring my brush detail down, see how much things change. Not a lot in this particular illustration. But again, I really encourage you guys to just push buttons. Come to the sketch. That's what a graphic pen looks like and everything. As my computer thinks. I really like that. Plaster. And the cool thing about it, if you don't like anything, you just hit cancel and you still have your originals. So do we have any volunteers? Does anybody have anything they can show me? I know you guys are working hard and diligently, but if you have something to show or if you have any questions, you don't just have to show artwork. Do we have any questions that you guys want to ask?
Nope.
Take it, that's a no. Okay, well, we have one more week next Monday, and we're going to close it down. I encourage everybody to become a member sponsor. I really want more people in our MMO art class that we're developing for. We need more artists. We're finishing up the steampunk class in 3 weeks, I think, and then hopefully we're going to go into critical thinking for concept artists. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson. Remember the daily drops. They change almost every day. I think we're on the Mermaid. We're starting something else right now. We got a lot of work in the pipeline that I can't wait to debut. I want to give my hat a tip to Mr. Steve because he's working very hard, and to my 50 Shades of Nelson, my handler at the Buzz Cave. Mr. Nelson, thank you very much. Take us out, and don't hang up, Mr. Nelson. I need to talk to you afterwards.